Year-old plumber James Livingston is suing co-worker 33-year-old carpenter Douglas Joseph for shooting at him with a nail gun and body slamming him.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 471 on the calendar in the matter of Livingston versus Joseph. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. Livingston, you are a plumber by trade, is that correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Joseph, you are a carpenter by trade.
That's correct.
According to your complaint, Mr. Livingston, the two of you didn't get along very well, but there came a time when you claimed that Mr. Joseph assaulted you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And on what date did this incident occur?
February 11th of 2000.
When had the difficulty between the two of you started?
The difficulty started prior to that job on another job.
So you knew him from before this job?
Correct.
So when you found yourselves working together on this project, that wasn't a happy time?
No.
Now tell me what happened on February 11th.
February 11th, I arrived on a job site approximately 10 after 8. When I walked in, I was confronted by him saying that I had left the driveway open for you, but I guess you're going to wear the skirt today. And I ignored it, turned around.
What does that mean? I guess you're going to wear the skirt.
It's just that I'm a wimp or a wuss. And approximately 10:30, I heard from the other side of the shear wall, was about 17 feet away.
What's a shear wall?
A shear wall is a wall between another room and it's half-inch plywood. He was up on the top of the railing and he was shooting down at me with a nail gun. And I have, Your Honor, the evidence of what a nail gun looks like. This is the type of nail gun that could maim or kill me.
Is that the nail gun that of a similar type that he was using on
Correct.
that day? Okay, go ahead.
And as that shot at the wall, a rack of these nails can be shot off in about 7 seconds. I had then come around the wall. He was standing there with an evil grin on his face, looking down at me. I called him very obscenity names, and I said, "Why did you shoot that nail gun at me?" Then he says, "I'm going to come down there and kick your..." He come all the way down the ladder, threw his belt off his waist for his nail gun, and come down the ladder, got into my face, and then I backed up, and I turned around, and when I turned around, he had grabbed me from the backside and went against the stud wall, and that's when the wall had hit the side of my ribs.
And you have photographs of your
Yes,
injuries?
I do.
I'd like to see them. Well, I can't see anything around your midsection, sir, because you have a girdle on.
That's for the broken rib. That's a pressure bandage.
All right. Do you have a hospital report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it, please.
If Your Honor, if I may call my wife, if we could, for all the pain and suffering and...
Not necessary, sir. Just show me the hospital report. Okay.
Them are all the correspondence with the hospital.
Now we'll hear your version of the event, sir.
Well, it started actually in '99, probably about a month beforehand, and one of my carpenters nailed through that shear panel and hit his pipe, and he didn't mean to hit his pipe, but when he found out that he hit his pipe...
I heard about that. That's when all the bad blood started between the two of you. Let's get to February 11th.
Very, very irate. And
let's get to February 11th, sir.
Okay, the day before that, he pulled up to the job site and wanted more access to the driveway, and we were all up in scaffold in the air, 30, 40 feet in the air, and it wasn't possible for us to come down. He became irate and red-faced at that time, took his car, slammed it in reverse, and backed up, missing my vehicle by inches. This is from other people like Matt.
All right, he missed your car, didn't hit your car, missed your car.
No, missed my car, came in and cussing and
screaming. So he didn't have access to get his truck in there easily the day before, so he was angry.
He was very angry.
Okay, so now let's get to February 11th.
Okay, February 11th. He came with an attitude like he did the day before.
So he was angry?
Yes. I did shoot the nails.
I know you did. That's what you said.
Okay.
You said you shot the nails, and not only did you shoot the nails, but you said something to him when you were shooting the nails. According to you.
Yeah, I was jokingly trying to encourage him to get out of the mood he was in. When I said, dance, pipe boy. And,
right, that's what you said. And that, Mr. Joseph, is what, quite frankly, pardon the pun on words, put the nail in your coffin.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Because there had been, evidently, bad blood between the two of you, You knew he was angry. You were not trying to cajole him into a better mood. Did you think that by pointing that gun and shooting in his direction, although not at him, that you were going to make him feel better by saying, dance, pipe boy? Did you think you were going to make him feel better?
May I respond in defense? 2 weeks
I
prior...
want you to answer my question. Did you think that you were going to make him feel better by shooting the nails from that gun in his direction and saying, dance, pipe boy?
I honestly did, because he always is joking around with everybody on the job site.
But he wasn't joking around with you that day, sir, because you say right here in your answer, Mr. Joseph, it was evident that he was in his usual hostile mood.
I was trying to change his mood.
By shooting?
Yes.
By shooting those things in his
For
direction?
joking around with him. May I defend myself? Because 2 weeks prior to this, I was building a water heater platform, and I was having trouble reaching a nail, so I handed him my nail gun, and he took the nail gun and pointed it at his coworker's head. Matt Taylor was my witness to this.
Yes.
And he pointed up to his head, so if he's saying that it is so deadly of a weapon, why is he pointing at this gun that was live to the head of someone? When I shoot a nail gun during the day, people walk behind the walls all the time when I hold it up close. I was 35 feet away. There was nowhere for the round to get him at all. He was in perfect safety. Actually, I thought he was in the garage. He was in perfect safety.
You couldn't have thought he was in the garage, sir, because your statement, dance pipe boy, was directed to him. He was the only pipe boy around.
I knew he was in the general vicinity, and I knew he could overhear me when I said that.
Oh, Mr. Joseph, come on. You precipitated this altercation. You started this altercation.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. James Livingston says coworker Douglas Joseph body slammed him. Douglas says he was only playing.
So now you've shot this nail gun in his general direction, although not according to you at him, and words are exchanged. You're up on the second floor, correct?
That's correct.
He's on the first floor. Did he come up to the second floor where you were at?
No, ma'am. He...
No, the answer is no. Did you exit the second floor and come down to the first floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because he was calling me down. He was calling me down with profanity and telling me he was going to kick my...
So that seems like a perfect time for me to stay where I am. Somebody is threatening you. Somebody, I mean, I see the way you look. I see, how old are you?
I'm 33 years old.
How old are you?
38,
Okay. How much do you weigh?
162 pounds.
How much do you weigh?
250 pounds.
So it seems to me you don't have much of a risk from him coming up to you and beating you with his plunger, right?
Right.
So you come down from the second floor because he was calling you names. And what happened when you came downstairs, Mr. Joseph?
We did stand toe-to-toe, and he was blurting out vulgar language at the whole time. And I said, "You're not worth going to jail for." I turned and walked away, turned my cheek and walked the other way. And he blurts out, I can't even say it on TV, or he's bleeping things. But I became angry at that point when I turned and I went to push him. And as I pushed him, I tripped and fell on this hardware that he was mumbling about. And he jumped on my back and started choking me. And so
you went to push him.
I went to push him,
And
but I fell.
no, you went to push him. That's not what you said. You said you went to push him, and as I did, I fell.
Right.
Then you're down on the ground, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You're down, flat down on the ground.
I'm down on my knees and my hands.
And what happened?
He jumped my back and started choking my neck. I couldn't breathe.
Yes.
So then I feared for my life. I grabbed his sweatshirt, and I couldn't breathe, so I tried to wreck myself, and I pushed us back into the wall. And at that point, I gained control. And I put him in head and arm and around his body, and that's it. No punches were done.
Well, he was injured, sir. He had a fractured rib.
Yeah, Dewey, the electrician, told me he was loading his four-wheeler and broke his rib doing that. He told me.
Don't tell. I'm not interested in what somebody else told you, sir. That's hearsay. That's hearsay. Now, he went to the hospital on the 11th. What's 16:45 hours?
That's 4:45 in the afternoon.
May I introduce Matt Taylor? He's my witness.
I saw the argument in the morning.
You saw it from the beginning, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, I did. I saw him.
Where was Mr. Joseph?
He was upstairs with me, second floor.
And did you see him with a gun similar to that in his hand?
Yes, I did.
Did you have any conversation with him, Mr. Taylor, prior to him pointing the gun downward and shooting off a round?
No.
He didn't say to you, "Look what I'm going to do," or "I'm just fooling around"?
No.
How many rounds did he fire off?
3?
When he fired off those rounds, did you see the plaintiff?
No, I didn't. He was behind the shear wall.
Did you ask Mr. Joseph what he was doing?
No.
Well, wouldn't that seem like a logical thing to ask?
I knew that I knew Mr. Livingston wasn't in any danger from
That's
the nail.
not what I asked you. You saw the defendant shooting off rounds of that gun in a way that was not meant to do any business that you were there to do, right?
Right.
Well, what did you think he was doing, sir?
I thought he was messing around.
Messing around with what?
A nail gun.
Messing around how? Just look at me, sir. Messing around how?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, I didn't know what he was doing. He was shooting off the nail gun. I knew he was messing around with the plumber.
Oh, okay, so you know he was messing around with the plumber with the nail gun.
Yes. Yes, sir.
There we go. So after he shot off 3 rounds with the nail gun, what did you hear him say?
I heard him say, "Dance, pipe boy."
Now, you were on the 2nd floor. Do you see how quietly you said it to me, dance pipe boy? I want you to use your voice, Mr. Taylor, and in a voice that replicates how Mr. Joseph communicated dance pipe boy to the plaintiff. I want you to tell me how that sounded from the 2nd floor. Let's hear it, Mr. Taylor.
He said, "Dance, pipe boy."
You want me to put you up on the 2nd floor and see if I could hear that? With all the other noise that's going on in a house that's being renovated? You want to try that one more time?
He said, "Dance, pipe boy."
That sounds more like it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You came downstairs and took off your belt to fight.
Negative.
Oh, yes, you started it. And whatever happened after that, you deserved it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. James Livingston says coworker Douglas Joseph body slammed him. Douglas says he was only playing.
And when he said dance pipe boy, see how you laughed and you smiled when you said that to me? Did you smile?
No, I didn't.
You didn't smile. Did you laugh?
No.
Was he laughing?
No.
Wasn't?
No.
And then what did you see, sir?
I saw Mr. Livingston come out from around the corner, and for a while he was taunting Doug, lots
Cursing
of verbal
at him.
abuse, cursing at him.
Cursing at him.
And then I saw Doug he went downstairs.
Did he go downstairs by ladder?
Yes.
And did he put down the gun before he started to descend the ladder?
Yes.
And what about his tool belt?
He took that off. He took that off when he got down there.
Did he take that off as soon as he got down from the ladder?
No.
So he was wearing it.
Yes.
And when did he take off his tool belt?
The second time he went down, when.
Second time.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the first time he went down.
The first time he went down was after Mr. Livingston started calling him a bunch of names. He went down, he said that it wasn't worth it, came back up, and then Mr. Livingston started yelling at him some more, and he went back down and he took off his tool belt.
May I respond in defense to myself? He was saying that I knew you weren't going to do anything about it. Like, he wanted to fight, and I didn't want to fight. I tried to walk away from it the whole time.
You could have?
I could have.
Oh, you could have, Mr. Joseph. All you had to do was not come downstairs the second time and take off your belt.
How much verbal abuse can someone take?
Do you hear that?
Yeah,
Do you hear that?
when it goes on for months, they've had 5 complaints about him with other trades and everything, about how vulgar his language is and
That's
how...
why, Mr. Joseph, I don't believe you when you say to me that you shot the gun at him in an attempt to change his mood from foul to fair. I don't believe you. What I think you wanted to do was just give him a good one. And you not only shot this gun at him, which could place him at risk because, let's say, it happened that one of those nails hit another nail, hit a pipe, ricocheted, caused some damage. You would have been very sorry that that happened. You would have said it was an accident. I didn't mean to hurt him. But bottom line was, you started it. And whatever happened after that, whatever foul language he was using, whatever names he was calling you or your mother, whatever he was doing, you deserved it. So you didn't come down once, so you didn't tell me that. You actually went upstairs without taking off your belt. According to this gentleman, you came downstairs and took off your belt to fight.
Negative.
Oh, yes, you did. You took off your belt in order to fight, because otherwise there is absolutely no reason for you to take off your belt. You didn't do it the first time.
I believe I did do it the first time, actually.
Not according to your witness. According to your witness, he said you went up the first time, right? With the belt. Came back upstairs with the belt. Didn't take the belt off until he came down a second time, right?
Right.
You've been most helpful. Sit down. So, Mr. Joseph, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I'm sure that that's something that you heard at your mother's knee at some time during your life, and it's too bad that you didn't follow through. You started this incident on this job site. You started it. You started it by behaving irresponsibly with a very serious piece of equipment. And I'm not saying that Mr. Livingston, by responding and calling you names and cursing at you, was a gentleman. But boy, if somebody did that to me, let's just say this. Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are your children?
They're 10, 11, 12, 13.
Let's say a 15-year-old boy doesn't like your 10-year-old and has one of those dart guns and takes out one of those dart guns and starts shooting it in your son's direction.
May I defend your leading?
No, I want to ask you that question.
Actually, an incident happened to my son just the other day where he was beat up by 3 of the neighbor boys, and I walked over to the neighbor after just relaxing about it and talking to her, and said, I know that boys will do things, and he had a hurt rib and a bloody nose.
And you went over and said, I know that boys will do things.
Yeah,
Really?
They beat him up, and he was in tears, and everyone, and I responded like, I was in fear of my son, but an hour later, I realized that he might have done something to begin with to do something, and then they might have taunted him or something like that,
Really?
And I think they were both
You are such a
responsible.
good person. Somebody did that to one of my kids, boy, even joking around. I wouldn't like that, would you?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
I admit that I was angry at first, but I waited an hour and a half.
Well, you calm down.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you should have done.
Yes, ma'am.
So you got to pay for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
3-year-old Roberta McLeod and her husband, 38-year-old Bill Tenori, are suing 32-year-old caterer Alicia Webb for failing to show up at their wedding. Alicia says she didn't show up because she was in jail.
Order. All rise. Now, this is case number 459 on the calendar in the matter of McLeod, Tenori versus Webb. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
All right. Planning a wedding, first wedding for both of you?
Yes.
Yes.
You hired the defendant to do the catering. You were expecting about 150 people. She gave you a price of a little over $500 to do all the catering for 150 people. So far, is that right?
Correct.
That's some bargain. Night before the wedding, you were arrested, had some outstanding matter with the police. You were pulled over for a traffic violation, held overnight. You called them from jail?
Actually, Your Honor, I had to call my mother at 6 o'clock that morning and ask her to get in touch with a partner of mine that was supposed to help me prepare for the wedding. And she got in touch with my partner at 9 o'clock that morning.
Okay. In any event, you were ultimately contacted, told she wasn't coming. You had to hustle and scramble and find a deli and get sandwiches and whatever to feed these 150 people. You not only want your deposit back, you want $5,000 from her because you say she spoiled your whole day. Right?
That's accurate.
It's never going to happen. Understand that it's never going to happen. The defendant did, in fact, volunteer to give you $1,000, right?
That's correct.
You said, I'm prepared to give you $1,000 for your aggravation and everything else. I feel terrible. What happened? And you said no. Why did you say no?
First of all, Your Honor, she didn't contact us until December 18th, 2 months and 4 days after the wedding, after she'd been served with the court case.
You mean she didn't send you back your deposit either?
No, wouldn't even return my phone calls. And we didn't find
Okay,
out.
then you got angry.
Well, partially. I also spoke to a lot of lawyers and people, and they said when you sue for the maximum, and then you see what you can get, you barter or whatever, so.
Your
But,
Honor, Your Honor,
That's why lawyers have such a bad reputation.
Your Honor, the reason why I didn't contact her as soon as I got released, which is after 11 days, I missed 3 weeks of work. I got out to almost being evicted, and I had a tragedy in my family. There was a lot of things going on when I got out. And I also tried to contact her before I was served, and when I spoke with her, she told me that she was on her honeymoon and that she did not receive any of my messages.
What were you incarcerated for the 11 days?
For not showing up, for being a material witness in an assault case, which was my past landlord. And at that time, my landlord had been threatening me, so I moved.
Whatever. So you were served to appear as a witness in a criminal case. You didn't appear.
Right.
What do you expect to get from her?
Well, I think mostly it was the cost we incurred. Our wedding, we served hot dogs instead of the elegant meal we had planned.
You weren't going to get an elegant meal for $500 for 150 people.
Well, actually, when we interviewed with her, I asked those questions because we were inviting people from all over the country, and no one traveled less than an hour because we were in the mountains where we got married.
$100, you don't get a big spread.
I know, and
Okay.
I even have the stuff she faxed me, and I questioned it. She showed us books to say, you know, people cooked the food for her. That's how she was able to do
If
it.
it
So-
looks too good to be true, it's usually not true. You look like an intelligent lady. Did you ultimately have a good time at your wedding?
I think the only time I really remember was the actual ceremony.
That's great.
We never went over to the tables. We never even ate the food.
Good.
It was taboo, and
Perfect.
I was so humiliated and embarrassed. I didn't, want to even start crying in front of my guests. So
Okay. It will be a day you will remember.
we've got stories, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
But
Ms.
for-
Webb, did you make an offer to them to compensate them in the amount of $1,000?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Because, Your Honor, I felt very terrible that I could not be there to cater her wedding. That's what I love to do.
Why didn't your partner get over there with some of the food?
Evidently, she wasn't true. She wasn't a real friend.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
What?
Can I say one more thing? We actually didn't find out that Alicia wasn't coming until 3 o'clock, and the wedding was due at 4:30.
It's a situation that was unavoidable.
Well, right.
It's not as if she blew off your wedding to do something else.
Well, I don't
She
know.
would have much preferred to do your wedding than to be incarcerated. So the only question is, what are your damages? And what damages can you reasonably expect from the defendant? Now, she certainly has to return your deposit to you, which is $200, right?
Correct.
She has offered you $1,000, and I think that that is a pretty reasonable offer under the
Right.
circumstances. So that's my judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Some of the more elegant things was like a fondue pot with Baileys and chocolate drizzled on tea biscuits, and these folks ate hot dogs.
I checked with other catering companies, and they would have been spending like $2,000 for 150 people.
And now the next case.
All parties on Hart versus Kirby. Step forward, please.
18-year-old salesperson Jennifer Hart is suing former friend, 18-year-old package handler Brian Kirby for damage to her car and stealing money.